Hey, Soul,
Yep.
it's time for the weekly.
Yeah, one more month.
What?
In game. Just one more month, and then I'll save, and then we'll get to recording the weekly, okay?
How many times do I have to nag you?
Dude, I'm almost done. Just give me like 5 more minutes.
No, I said now.
Oh, come on, you're being so mean.
I'm being mean. Hello, I'm in your head.
God, Bob, you never let me have any fun, like, ever.
Well, I didn't raise you this way. Go clean your room. And go call your wife.
Yeah, 5 more minutes. Hey, it's Soul, and welcome to Warcraft Weekly, the show where I cram as much news as I can into one program because I spent way too much of my time this past week romancing the ladies. A huge thanks to all the patrons and the sponsors, including our newest members of our growing family.
Rhymestead, Joey, and Tim.
I tried my best to spice it up a little bit. You're welcome.
I never asked.
You folks clicked here so you can find out all the news on the 8.2.5 PTR that just dropped the other day, and dude, it's a bomb. It's not like a smelly turd bomb, it's more like, wow, this made a really strong impression kind of bomb. Okay, that kind of sounds like the same thing. But if you want to jump ahead, check out the timestamp below so you can get right to it. Otherwise, sit tight and enjoy whatever it is that you're already doing. Let's get to the weekly. Earlier this week marked the end of the World First race, with Mathod once again taking the coveted prize of World First, bringing down Queen Ashara after 359 pulls. US Guild Limit came to a fairly close second 8 hours later, snagging the number 2 spot after 527 pulls. Now, we can draw all sorts of narratives as to how to, quantify the performance difference between these two top-tier guilds. My only takeaway is that
They're better than you.
it's okay, Bob, because I have you.
Don't drag me down with you.
This month is not going to be just another roller coaster of emotion, with PTR builds coming week after week, bringing us a mix of hope and false hope, but coverage of another game that can't escape anyone's attention. One that players have fought and argued for over a decade, that touched a generation of gamers. Coming in August, Yu-Gi-Oh! For the Nintendo Switch.
It's time!
Heck yeah! And WoW Classic is coming too. Oh yeah. Bob Dance. Oh boy. There's a lot going on, so listen up. On August 8th, 11 AM Blizzard Standard Time, they're going to host the final stress test for WoW Classic, opening itself to players worldwide. To get in, all you have to do is check your Battle.net launcher and install the Classic client, and then hop in when the time comes for the fun. But if you're not able to join us in the queue party itself, you can visit any number of streamers, including me. So if you feel so inclined, follow me over on Twitch for that, or if you just feel like joining me for some coffee and WoW in the morning, feel free.
Hey, nice plug.
Oh yeah, I nailed that shit. Holla. 5 days later, on the 13th, Classic players will be able to create up to 3 characters on the realm of their choice. Basically, you can reserve your name. But keep in mind that just like the launch, which is coming on August 27th, when the game opens up for reserving your name, it's going to open up simultaneously worldwide. So people over here in California, hey, you can log in Monday on the 12th at 3 p.m. But in Paris, France, that's going to be midnight of the 13th. So good luck logging in to steal your favorite streamer's namesakes, and presume you can ransom it or something. Speaking of logging in, a small tidbit from this upcoming PTR indicates that you'll be able to log onto your WoW client using either your email or the phone number associated with your account. Your phone number. That's, like, amazing.
Totally.
Revolutionary.
Absolutely.
Who's going to use that?
Obviously, it's people who want to keep their precious usernames private, but these are just squiggly lines that don't mean anything.
Like, doesn't the Battle.net launcher bypass the login screen when you use that to launch the game? Doesn't everybody have the launcher? On a related note, we've recently learned that the physical version of the Blizzard Authenticator is no longer being manufactured. It's being phased out.
One day, Authenticator, you too will spend one day too long nestled tightly against my thigh. The light will slowly fade from you and be consumed by the hungering void.
Why is this in the script? Please remove and edit this line out. So what's a guy or a girl to do without their physical authenticator? Maybe I'm old school, and maybe I just like having something to grip with my bare hands and just burp, fetch my code every what month? Yeah, pretty much every month when my client actually asks for the code. Maybe you can try your luck on eBay and hope that you're not getting spammed. Predictably, if you have a smartphone, then you can always use the Authenticator application. If you don't have a smartphone but you at least have a cell phone that has text messaging, I don't even know what those look like anymore, you can use Blizzard's SMS Authenticator instead.
But Soul, I have no mobile device and I hate all technology. What do I do?
You can start by giving yourself the Curse of Flash.
No way.
Now, I'm not really recommending this, but you can also download an emulator that'll simulate an OS like Android, and from there, you can install the Authenticator app and secure your account that way.
Okay, how do I do that?
You probably shouldn't. I'm really not recommending this as a safe thing to do. I mean, I just don't want to be like that jackass YouTube person that gets blamed for people getting their account stolen because they downloaded the wrong emulator application, okay? Moving on to this tidbit, a new statue is being unveiled at this year's China Joy over in, China. As you know, last year's China Joy brought us the Lost Honor cinematic, so there's a chance that we'll get even more WoW-related stuff coming out of that event over the weekend. And now for the thing that you clicked for. Let's take a look at patch 8.2.5 and all the amazing stuff that any credible leaker really should have revealed before throwing something like this into the wild. Sheesh. There's a lot of information that dropped in just this first build, and it's still being mined for information as we speak. So I'll get into the highlights, but my overall reaction to this is wow. And if you're here, you know that spoilers and speculation are coming in, so strap in. We're going for a ride. I'm going to show you 4 new character models to look at, all of which are giving really strong hints at upcoming plot threads. How far these threads take us is anyone's guess, but the most revealing of all so far involves the return of Wrathion, the Black Prince. You could also call him the Adonis of Blood Elf models, minus the ears and the darkened skin, with black hair. I mean, it reminds you of a certain someone.
Oh, please.
So far, Wrathion starts off as a plot point. He's an objective for us to locate, to help an actual Black Dragon pal who isn't so coy about showing up, and I'm talking about Spirit Walker Ebonhorn. He's sick or he's going insane or something, and the only option, according to Caligos, is to consult with the Black Dragon Prince, who is in fact able to resist the old gods. Maybe. Curiously enough, Wrathion is in range of Karazhan, and in the upcoming patch, we're gonna go save his butt, in a 5-man group even. But now to speculate. If Wrathion is hiding around or near Karazhan, there's no way that Khadgar doesn't, at the very least, know about it, but I've convinced myself that he's playing an active role, so I think the return of Khadgar will be happening either in this patch or very soon after. I know that I've been harping time and time again about how uninvolved Khadgar has been, so we may find out more soon, and I'm really excited to find out what he tries to reveal to the rest of us. But back to Wrathion though, I also doubt that he got a new look only for him to just be thrown back onto the shelf for another, 4 or 5 years or so? I mean, someone's gotta get between the relationship between Anduin and Talia Fordragon, right? Right? Wrathion's return, I think, is coming a little bit earlier than even I expected, so he might be involved in the Battle for Azeroth storyline in a bigger way than previously imagined. Will he take us somewhere like the Dragon Isles that many have been talking about, possibly in 8.3? Could be. The Dragonflights haven't been very involved, but ultimately they may have the answer to the planet's woes. And the final raid of the expansion, I don't know, it could be N'Zoth's assault on the Chamber of Heart itself, down in Silithus or wherever, followed shortly by us, the champions of Azeroth and whoever's with us, assaulting the old god on his own turf. I'm not going to get too far ahead of myself, and there's other characters to take a look at, so let's move on. Zekhan! Yay! He's getting his own new model too. My very first reaction when I saw this was, Rokhan. Poor Rokhan. Like, Rokhan, as you know, he's one of the Dark Spirit Trolls' big guys, and he served the Horde for years and years. At present, he's fighting in the battle for Stromgarde. He's trying to hook up with Talanji and smash that piece. Yay. But who gets a unique look? Frickin' Zekhan, who I think this makes it his third actual fight. But as for the look, you can't deny that it looks really clean. I really like it, and it closely resembles his cinematic debut. Here's some more speculation based on the little bits of PTR info that we got. There's data that strongly suggests a warfront in Durotar, of all places. It could be in 8.2.5, it could be in 8.3. If so, well, This is what you've been asking and hoping for, folks. Siege of Orgrimmar 2.0. Only this time it comes in the form of a warfront. Ooh. I don't know how this composition is going to go. Like, is the Horde going to play as Saurfang's Horde or Sylvanas' Horde, or there's going to be a choice? Will Saurfang and his revolutionaries / traitors join up with the Alliance, and then the Alliance plays that side, while the Horde only plays as Sylvanas supporters? This is really convoluted, but my guess is that no matter who plays what, Zekhan is going to play a major role in this warfront, either as a lieutenant or like one of the leaders in the warfront maybe. I saw a couple of commenters bring this up, and I think that they might be right, that how we're seeing Zekhan right now, that's a good indicator of how the future Troll heritage armor may look like in the future, and that's not bad. As for Zekhan's future, I'm not so sure. Remember that throughout the battle for Azeroth, Horde players have been able to make certain key choices over the course of these patches. And if for the most part you've been loyal to Sylvanas, you experience the story in a slightly different way. By going down this arc, Warchief Sylvanas indicates that she has certain plans for the Saurfang loyalists, including Zekhan. Is that how it's going to play out? Will Zekhan ultimately just be set up to die? This is not a popular opinion, but I never really liked Zekhan. Maybe it's because he became some viral meme. Maybe because he follows Saurfang like he's got food in his pocket. He's like the Bob to his soul.
Or the soul to his Bob.
Maybe it's like this. He's like that one person at your job who does just enough to not get fired, but he spends most of his time kissing the boss's ass. And it works. I'm pretty sure I'm thinking way too hard on this. Let's just move on, okay? Valeera Sanguinar's new model is sort of like Zekhan's, which is more like about the armor that they're wearing that looks cool, and not so much the overall look that would redefine the look of the character. I mean, take Thrall for example. Sheesh. And let's get this one out of the way. Oh my god, she's showing so much skin. Oh my god, boobs, woo. Story-wise, Valeera has been acting as a go-between for Anduin, but that's about it. Like, I'd like to think that there's a little bit more to her in the upcoming story, but she's a hard one to speculate on because we've seen so little of her. Wrathion is starting off as a plot device, but he also acts as a bridge that can possibly take us somewhere, patch content, expansion content. But Valeera is more like a line that helps to tether plot points in a way to just explain things, like how Jaina and her brother were reunited. So if Valeera serves that purpose, what kind of connection is she going to make this time around? This is just a guess based on nothing, but I think that she'll at the very least have a message to deliver to Sylvanas from Anduin Wrynn. This really is the best that I can come up with what little information that we have, but I would love to hear your guesses too. Last but definitely not least, the return of Calia Menethil was sure to turn heads, and this did not disappoint. We're now getting our first look at Undead raised by the light. She definitely doesn't look like a normal human with what looks to be light-infused eye glowies and pale blue skin because, you know, Alliance love that blue no matter what the shade. One big takeaway for me though, that really full head of hair. I just find that far better than traditional undead hair, which looks more like a salvage operation than an actual hairstyle. And the more pronounced cheekbones here are something to notice as well. There are some that have gone as far as to say that she resembles a Titanic watcher like Freya and have been making that whole light Titan connection or something like that. I might eat my words, but I think it sounds pretty silly. Because the way I see it, Blizzard is just making Calia Menethil look more like a Menethil. The rest of her, though, is, you know, human-like. The cloak and the cowl thing, it's a little bit much, unless during her time at Netherlight Temple she's elevated her status, but, well, now it's time to speculate. Calia's undeath does not seem to be public information. The only people that know about her include, obviously, the people that were involved with her raising, Anduin Wrynn, Alontis Fowl, and the Naru, Sara. There's probably members of the Netherlight Temple who know this too, and people who have been obviously told, like Jaina Proudmoore. I've seen a lot of Alliance players, and let me underline that, Alliance players. I've seen them get really excited about Calia and the proposition of undead being part of the Alliance. But what about the Alliance as a whole? Like, what about its citizens? If the Alliance was less traumatized and more tolerant after the Third War, then the Forsaken could have originally joined the Alliance before the events of World of Warcraft. The leadership might have softened over the past 10 or so years, and the events of the Before the Storm book indicate that regular people among humans and Forsaken, that they can kind of sort of get along. But is that enough? Back to Calia though, I don't see this pure and benevolent presence coming from her. I don't see a future faction leader. In fact, I see a puppet risen by a Naru, who in fact was formerly a void god. There was like some event where it was a void god at first and had to be purified during the events of the Legion invasion. So I see Calia as the tip of the spear, this device that's going to bring the idea of morally gray into the very heart of the Alliance. Her existence demonstrates what it means to serve a higher calling, even if that means sacrifices or questionable choices. Even early in this current war between the Horde and Alliance, Greymane said that it wouldn't be long until they sent farmers, regular citizens, to the front line. So if at this point, months later, if Anduin was given the opportunity to raise the dead in order to put a stop to Sylvanas, would he do it? Should he do it? And given his close connection to the light, would the influence from Calia and Sara take him even farther, leading him to more extreme behavior to serve this so-called greater good? Or is his whole divine bell injury going to like wave its finger and say no, no, no? We've seen in the events of AU Draenor that if the light is put in charge of the planets, there can be dire consequences. Next week I'm going to dive into my crazy theory about the conspiracy of the light, which would have been the big topic of the week if it wasn't for, all this news.
And Fire Emblem.
I'm also going to spend some time next week talking about the living dead walking among us, and I'll get into the moral issues with all that stuff. Moving on to the last bits of news, WoW's 15th anniversary is coming in November. The other day I mentioned that there would be a big event that would award players with a flyable Deathwing-like mount. And now we know what the event is. A grand tour of WoW's most celebrated boss encounters across Burning Crusade, Wrath of the Lich King, and Cataclysm. The event is hosted by Chromie, who's going to take us on a wild ride through yesteryears and put us against the following bosses in no particular order: Archimonde, Kael'thas, Lady Vaj, Anubarak, Lich King, Hygen the Unclean, Cho'Gall, Nefarian, and Ragnaros. This is quite the lineup. You probably didn't notice that I also included a delicious sandwich in there, but this just makes for a very filled out event. See, I told you that Hygen would be chosen. Now I can't wait to see my guildmates dance the dance of death. These 9 bosses are going to be available as separate queues, so I suggest that you set some time aside during the month of November, because you might be a little bit busy decking yourself out with transmog, cosmetics, and gear for your ults. And there's way more that I haven't mentioned that is left to just like bullet points on my screen, like a Dire Bees, a Hearthstone cross promotion, a possible update to the Guild Finder system that was kind of ditched for patch 8.2, but might come back for here, 2-seater camels, and the new Worgen and Goblin models that I'm just gonna have behind me on screen because, yeah, I'm just gonna leave that up for now because for the most part, that's the show.
You didn't do a what of the week.
Yeah, I did. Wait, really? I didn't?
Nope.
What? For real, this week just felt so imbalanced, and I have to admit that I was way too distracted by other things.
Like Fire Emblem?
Well, I married the Emperor, so for now at least, my attention is all on you, people at home, and on the toilet. Next week, I'm going to double down and promise you more thoughtful content focusing mostly on lore. And to add to that, let's do a giveaway. Who wants to be given a month of WoW/Classic WoW game time? To enter this one is very easy, just leave a comment below and answer this question. What are you looking forward to most in 8.2.5 so far? Send me your non-snarky answer before next Friday and I will announce a winner 1 week from today, I suppose, as well as I'll put this on the Discord channel for everyone to see too. And of course, make sure that you stay connected. I'm on Twitch, I'm on Discord, I'm on Twitter, and we're at like 6 out of 8 bosses on Heroic. Go team. Thanks again to you patrons, Twitch subscribers, viewers, commenters, all of you folks. You guys help make sure that the AC stays cool and the coffee stays hot. And I'm excited to see you all next week to tell you the truth about the Holy Light for more of this and all things Warcraft. I'll see you later. Until then, stay safe, stay happy, and stay breezy.